Hi again, this time in English. First, Paul, thank you for being here and being our special guest today. So Paul came to Split because of some business things, and we invited him to be our special guest, and he's here. So one big applause for Paul.
Working? Now it is. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure. I just learned the word Tinel, what it means in Dalmatian. It's like living room, and I think that's...
that's true.
Well done.
We wanted to achieve with Tinel Meetup to have a feeling like that you are in your living room and like very relaxed atmosphere, nice talks, have some drinks, food, and such. And we are trying to achieve that.
And the pizzas were delicious, so...
Thanks. So, in 1996, you started your first agency, TomTom. Can you share a little more details about that?
Yeah, I started the agency because I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I didn't know what exactly, but when I was studying, I was working on boats to earn some money, some pocket money. And then I asked myself the question, okay, when I want to buy this boat, it was like 53 foot, like 60-meter boat, how much money did I need? And then I make some calculation, and then, okay, it's never going to happen with a normal job. So I thought, okay, let me take the opportunity to do something different. And that was sort of, I don't know, I'm not money-driven, but it makes sort of the click that you can take a risk to do something different because it's a calculated risk.
And then from TomTom to DEPT, which is like a very famous agency, very big today, working in 3 countries.
Yeah, we started in 1996 in Delft, a small place in the Netherlands, near the technical university. Bart was at that time studying physics. And you know, I asked Bart, do you want to join me? Because I knew that I was sort of good in sales and connecting people, but I had no clue about technology. And to my surprise, my brother said, yes, let's get on this journey. And well, that's what we did. And the first years, we started with the 2 of us. I must say there was a question around what was the most difficult part of your career? I would say the first years were the most difficult part. You know, you don't know anything, and then you're with the 2, that's okay. But then like 15 people or something around, I found it that you're young and you don't know, and I found it super difficult to get through.
And today it's around 4,000 people, right?
Yeah, it's around 4,000 people. Yeah.
And you have offices in Europe, United States, and Asia.
That's correct. Yeah, yeah.
Impressive.
I think Europe is, from a revenue perspective, still the biggest, but most profit is at this moment coming from the US.
And the Asia markets?
It's smaller, but growing rapidly. Yeah.
And you told me that you did a buy and build strategy. Can you explain a little bit about that? What kind of the strategy it is, and how that affected the growth of the DEPT agency?
Yeah, TomTom. We started as a local agency, like I think not most of you, but some of you, and we thought, okay, we had a very ambitious team, and we thought, okay, what are we going to do with such an ambitious group of people? And we thought, okay, we were at that time one of the leading agencies in the Netherlands, and there was a lot of energy in the team around, let's see if we can expand our brand, TomTom back then, more internationally. So we started the journey a little bit, and then we found out, okay, this is nice, but it's going far too slow. And then we were looking for other opportunities, and then with a little bit of luck, we ran into private equity called Waterland. It's a local, no, it's not a local player, but a Dutch player, private equity. And that was a match made in heaven, I would say. So in 2015, they bought us and for the half of the shares. And together we took the journey of buy and build. So buying other agencies in different countries. And that's what we wanted to do. And buy and build is a normal strategy for most of the private equity companies around.
Is that, by your opinion, is that the fastest way to grow fast if you are agency? Is that strategy?
I'm not sure if it's the fastest way. It's sometimes a difficult way because it's you buy other agencies. It's a cultural thing, bringing all the teams together, start working together, building one brand. So it's kind of a nightmare. But that said, it's also very nice to meet other teams, other cultures, start to build, learning from each other and bringing it a little bit more together than it was before. And I think we succeeded that journey quite well. It's still difficult, of course, but that's how it is to run an agency. But yeah, I'm very, very happy that we had the opportunity to do so, to do the buy and build.
What is like the biggest difference comparing DEPT to some other agencies? Like, what is the unique proposition that DEPT gives to the clients and allows you to work with some large clients? Like, you have an impressive list of the clients, so.
Well, I think, but DEPT at this stage we can have a big, because it's a big company right now. It's a big portfolio of services. That's helpful, of course, for the clients. We can really help them from A to Z. But I think in the end, it's the culture why clients want to work for us. It started in the early days in the TomTom, you know, and it's the simple rules: to be honest, take care of your clients, look after them, be straightforward. I think these sort of I call it normal things in behavior. I think that's in the end still the strengths of DEPT, and it was definitely the strengths of TomTom back then.
Thanks. What do you think are the most important things to build a solid team? And was it hard to combine, like when you acquire some other agency, to like combine them with your existing team, or if you buy like few different agencies in parallel time, like is it hard to combine that in one team, one culture, or how it goes?
Well, it's definitely in the end not one culture, because you are born in different teams, you exist in different countries, you have different backgrounds, different people. So I'm not so sure if we are striving to one culture, but we are striving to one sort of same feeling, and the ground principles should be the same. And I think that's something we really strive for. And of course, when we started off, it was like more loosely brought together. Every agency at the start in 2015 had its own name, and then we found out, okay, this is not going to work, because if too many names, it's too complicated for the market, and definitely too complicated internally. And then we decided all together, okay, let's start the journey to build one brand strategy. And that was helpful in the market, because then you can really work on your name. But that's not the same that all the teams were completely integrated. It took us a while, and it's still an ongoing process to bring teams together. And yeah, because the buy and build train had never stopped. So.
Do you maybe know the number, how many companies you bought?
I know, it's more than 30.
Nice.
30, yeah.
Cool. And you said that you are passionate a lot about building the teams and making them work together, collaborative. Like, how did you manage that when company grow like about 1,000 people? How did you have the company?
Well, I'm not in the management team anymore at this stage, so but I think that I'm in the supervisory board, so controlling more controlling role than managing role. But of course, I was in the management team. I think as a manager, having a low ego, taking care of the people, taking care of your clients, and I think in the end, get your business, keep it simple, keep it organized, and understand what your business drivers are. I think it sounds silly, but what I noticed, especially in the buy and build, you met other agency, And sometimes people don't understand how they make money. And I think having a good understanding why and why they make, how you make money, what are the big drivers of it, and ensure that it's always profitable. I think that's sort of it's super helpful bringing teams together.
When you are searching for a company that you want to acquire, what are you looking for? What is something that can trigger your decision that you want to acquire that particular agency?
Yeah, that's of course a couple of things. Foremost, where is it? Is it in the right region? What are their services? And then it starts a little bit more complicated, but what are the numbers? How does the management team look like? How does the founders look like? Is there a cultural match? And that's sort of the list we really ran through. And yeah, that's what we were looking for.
And you said that you are now more in supervising, so from the management to supervisor, chairman, right, or something like that. How your daily job changed from one position to another?
Quite a lot, because I was busy like a full week, and that's not the case anymore. So there's more time for holidays and other stuff.
For sailing?
Sailing, for example, that's right. I still, I've seen for 2 summers, 3 summers maybe, I see the coast, Croatian coast, so I know all your islands, not all your islands, but a lot of them.
I heard that you had a boat here. Do you still own it?
Yeah, I have, yeah.
So what is what are the future goals for the DEPT? Where the agency is moving right now?
Our aim is to build the best digital agency in the world on scale. That was the aim, and that's still the aim.
Are you still acquiring other agencies? That's still part of your strategy?
It's part of the strategy, but as we all know, that the economy is a little bit slow. So therefore, also our buy and build strategy is not on hold, but it's slower than before.
You also mentioned private equity. Can you explain a little bit why private equity is very important for buy and build model?
It is important because that's the way they grow agencies. So if you want to adapt to their style of doing business, then it's, at least in my experience, it's buy and build. So if you like to do so, then you should also embrace buy and build. And I must say, I was the front man of the buy and build from 2015 for like 5 years. And it was, from all the years working, it was my best period. I really enjoyed it.
And what is some of your private goals? What do you want to achieve in the future? Except having more time for sailing.
Well, I'm not overly ambitious, so I enjoy the ride. I'm there. I'm helping out. I see some clients. I have some other jobs to do. So I'm completely fine with my time, and I understand that I'm never going to start another company again. So that was history, and it will never be as good as it was. So I'm not going to do so.
How was it in 1996 to have a digital agency? Like, that's the very beginning of digital agency.
Yeah, definitely. I read about, I was working at a wholesaler, a technical wholesaler, and I hated my job. I'm completely word blind, so if you ask me something and I have to remember it and write it down, I'm lost. So I had to pick up the phone, and somebody called me about, I want to do an order for this and this and this number. And then at that moment, I already was completely lost. And I made a lot of mistakes. And then I thought, okay, nice job, nice company, but this is not me. And then I thought, okay, what I was doing, why not directly in a computer and skip my stupid job? So that was the start of TomTom back then, making e-business, but there was no e-business system at that time. But inventing an e-business system, that was the start of a marketplace. Yeah, how do you call it? Yeah.
Cool story. Regarding we discussed a lot in a panel, it was in Croatian, unfortunately, about current situation in the market, like it's some kind of the bear market. What do you think about the market at this point? And are you like, for this year, is it the growth of the DEPT reduced, or you will reach some plans? Are like,
you know, it's the economy and the market. It's always going a little bit up and down, and now we are in a little bit down, and then I don't know, in a couple of months, years, I don't know, it will go up again. It's normal. I don't get very nervous about it.
So we heard a lot of success stories from your side. Is there like any big failure that you want to share with the audience here? Like, where did you learn a lot?
Yeah, it's a good question about failure, but I think, let me start, it's not, I don't want to talk about big failures, because I think it's super important that as an entrepreneur, you should take your risk, or at least that's my view, take calculated risk. And that's what we have done through all the years. It's not risk averse, but you have to think about, okay, when I do this or that, what is the risk? Can I take the risk? What happens if everything goes the wrong side? And I think that mentality is super helpful as an entrepreneur and building business. So at least for us, it helped a lot. So there were a lot of small mistakes, but never something super serious what was dangerous for the business.
Just, from my point of view, it's just lesson learned and move forward. Like, learn from your mistakes. And
yeah, you know, you can always do things better, but I'm not really looking back and why did I do that? And
focusing on the future.
Yeah.
Okay. Any questions?
A lot of questions, guys.
There is one. Can someone please share the microphone?
Hello, I'm Manuel. I would like to ask you, what is the motivation to build so big agency or company except money?
Well, you know, it's not about, for me at least, it's not about the size, but it's about the growth. And I think you don't have that much opportunities. Or you stand still, or you decline, or you grow. There's growth. And I think decline is not what you want. Flat line is not going to work in the future. So there is, in the end, only, in my view, only one way, and that's up. And at least have a decent growth. And then, well, you start in 1996, then you have a lot of time to grow. That's basically what happens.
How did you sell your services in 1996? How did you explain someone like we are doing digital things?
We are building your corporate website. That's what we did.
Web 1.0. More questions? Another one there.
So, what is your end game, and do you have one?
I hope there is no end game for DEPT. Meaning, maybe now we are on the second round of private equity. Carlyle is now is the backer of DEPT, and definitely they will step out somewhere in the future. But then I'm pretty sure that there will be another backer, or we go public, or I don't know. But the aim is to continue with DEPT and to stay independent.
Good question. Another one? Yeah, there is another one.
Yeah, one question, especially regarding the growth and the acquisition of the different cultures that you mentioned. What are the pitfalls of this approach? Are there any things that you would do differently, or that may be trying the same way that we need to take care of in the process?
always difficult, and I think the biggest lesson in the start, the beginning of our buy and build, we were super. We want to do it fast and now and everything at once, and then during the years we start to learn. Okay, we all need a little bit of time and start with the simple things first, and the most important things first, and the most important and the simple things are around. Let's see if we can bring in one project and start working together, because then there's a driver for culture and people start to know each other. That's an important part. What we also learned is that, and that's not nice, but from the financial part should be, everything should be clear, and there's sort of nice reported lines and so on. So that's what we try to do as fast as possible. But management team, the way they are organized, the acquired team, we didn't change that much. And then you need a little bit of time to get to know each other, and also the acquired team to understand what is DEPT, why I'm here, what I'm doing, how is it going to work. So that sometimes it takes like 2 years or something like that to really come together. Is that an answer on your question? Thanks.
Anyone else? Is there any story behind the name of the company?
There is. First it was TamTam, as you know, and then we started a new journey, and we thought, okay, for a new journey we need a new house, a new name. And then it took us a long time to come up with something. And DEPT is a depreciation, is it English, of departments. So bringing different departments together. In the end, it's not the best name maybe, but it's a name and it works, so I'm good.
Another question here. All agency guys.
Yeah, all agency guys. I see many agencies here that are 10, 20, 30 people employed. Do you have any advices for the CEOs of those small agencies who first they did the job programming or whatever, and now being CEOs and building the management team and everything, do you have any problems in that period, and do you have any advices for us?
Actually, I had a lot of problems at that time, and I fucked up a lot, because I'm not typically a CEO who's well organized and understand all the numbers. It was always a little bit messy, so I need a lot of people around me to get everything organized. And sometimes I was like, okay, I need a really good CEO. And I think that was a wise decision, but we did it too early, and then the guy was not the right guy, and I was not, and in the end it was my fault. I didn't accept him as a CEO. It was like my ego was still too big to give the power, the really power to somebody else. So it took me like 10 years or something like that to grow up and to understand that it's better to have somebody others.
How big company was at that point?
80 or something like that, 80 people.
More questions? Going once? I'm kidding. Do you have something, some final thoughts to share? Because we have like a few more minutes. If there is no questions, I will give you the final word, and I think we are good.
No, not especially, but I really want to thank you for coming and for organizing. And this venue is like just, I learned it's sort of a summer house from a rich guy in the early days, but amazing. So thank you so much for having me.
Pleasure is ours. Thank you.
Thank you.
Once again, if there is any question, one more, and we are over. No? Okay, that's all from us. Thank you, Paul, again. And thank you for all the questions and for being here.